Hello everyone, Alien Theory here, back with another video. This one's a little bit different, but I hope you enjoy it. As I shared with you in my last video, I actually had the chance to view Alien on the big screen recently, which was the second time in my life I had such an experience, and I certainly hope it's not the last, because really nothing beats the theatrical experience. Still though, I think nothing would be better than to see it in a theater full of really hardcore fans, and a dream I've had would be to, I don't know, host a screening, though I literally have no idea how that would work, but I can dream, right? That said, if I can get a little colorful, the internet as a whole is one big theater, and since I'm not able to live stream currently, the next best thing would be for you to watch along with me in the form of a commentary track. And it just so happens I have one. Comparatively, not too many people have seen it. It's on my other channel, hi this is Derek237, and I recorded it to celebrate the very first Alien Day in April of last year. So for this video I wanted to share some highlights from that track, but I do have to warn you, the audio's not great. At that time I was using a pretty lousy microphone, and very obviously I wasn't working off a script or notes or anything, so there's a lot of stammering, a lot of ums and uhs, which is usually the case for my stream of consciousness reviews. It was pretty interesting for me personally, at least, to revisit this commentary track. Aside from some unfortunate comments you'll be hearing soon that I made about the cast, and the cast of another franchise actually, which kind of haunt me and sadden me a bit now, I think that at that time, I wanted to make this channel, Alien Theory, without even really knowing it, if that makes sense. I express a lot of thoughts and curiosities about the film and the Alien universe that would actually become topics for videos I've done here on this channel. So in a way, it's almost like a rough sketch of things to come. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and if you'd like to listen to the commentary track in full and sync it with your own copy, I recorded this for the theatrical version, by the way. I'll have a link to the original video in the description below and on the end screen. I think it's brilliant the way it kind of sets up, almost subconsciously for the audience. It kind of maps out the location. It's a very claustrophobic movie, but there are very distinct areas that we're kind of getting mapped out here. We're kind of seeing now on this tour of the spaceship that'll come into play later, like you see right there. The little spacesuits in the background that would come into play later when they land on the planet. The little ladder that Ripley climbs up, she's frantically going, up and down ladders through the ship towards the end of the movie. And the cockpit here, which kind of maybe aside from, I'd say aside from like the mess hall and like the dining area, would be kind of their main convening area. It's kind of where they're always hanging out. And I'm sure, like a lot of people, when I first saw this movie, there's two heads there. I did think they were people. You see these helmets and they start lighting up. They're looking at a computer, but then you look a little closer. Oh, emergency helmet, what's that? And we find out that it's they're just autopilots or something like that. And we see them kind of bringing up the computer information, like, okay, they're where they want to be right now, or are they? Or is a distress signal been sent? The amazing John Hurt, who I love, and he's the first, and I think that's another cool thing too. He's just in him waking up here. He's kind of the first human we latch on to, sort of. It's like almost like an instinctual thing, like the first. Everyone else is sleeping, so we're like, hey, this guy's awake. He's doing something, so maybe he's a guy that we can, trust in the audience. So we kind of sort of subconsciously just get attached to him. Uh, in some way or another, but it kind of pays off later when he's the first person to bite it. So, but looking at this cast assembled now, and panning through the activity, they're waking up. And on this day, on Alien Day 426, enjoying the movie again. Who knows how many times I've watched this movie, but one thing I've been reflecting on, the movie, its 40th anniversary is close approaching. Hard to believe it's that old, but one thing that I think is great, I mean, the whole cast, everybody, except for maybe Balahi Badejo, who played the alien, they're all still alive.
And I think that's, kind of shows how quickly this movie became a classic. Like, kind of think of like the great eternal classic. Think of maybe older movies, and Gone with the Wind or whatever. Even great horror movies from the past, like Nosferatu or whatever. But those are so old. But here we still have a tie to the present, where these are still actors, kicking around, still alive. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, she's become a huge star because of this movie. I mean, this was her breakthrough role, and the cast is still alive. Kind of like I think about things like that, like the Bond actors. Every actor who played Bond is still alive, which is I think is pretty cool. Wasn't the best of landings. A little rough. I love the way Dallas and Ripley are kind of mirrored off of each other, like both with their like fists to their forehead. They're like, "What the fuck did we just fucking do? Fuck's sake!" So even like subtle things like that, you can kind of gauge the relationships. And I guess I mean it's worth noting. Now is as good of a time as any. How they're always kind of either mm, like rumor, well, I don't want to say rumors, but like kind of implications and even kind of stories about earlier drafts of the screenplay where supposedly Ripley and Dallas kind of sort of had like a relationship going, which I don't know. I mean, I would say the less the better, and I think just in like really like subtle implications, I think it works a lot better because you kind of think, well, again, it's a tightly knit crew. They have a good rapport between all each other. Some more than others, but they all get along. They seem like this tightly knit crew that has to deal with each other, make the best of it in certain situations. Maybe they don't quite trust everyone. Like Ash is a little you know lonerish sort of, and he's I don't know something about him. He seems a little bit different, almost inhuman. Um, but you kind of think like, oh well, maybe this guy's sleeping with this guy. This guy's sleeping with that girl. Wait, did I just say this guy's sleeping with this guy? Hey, Brett and Parker. I don't know. Something's going on there, but kind of just to make a supposition about it instead of like outright uh, saying it or showing it. Like if they did have like, let's say, not even like a sex scene. Let's just say even like an embrace. Not even like a kiss. Just like I don't know something where Ripley and Dallas like hug or something. It's like, oh, be careful or something like that. Be careful out there in the shafts, Dallas. You come back to me, Dallas. I don't know. That'd be just so stupid. So I'm glad they kept it to a minimum. Seeing it in theaters, I do think it holds up despite the pace. Like the version I'm watching right now, and hopefully the one that you have queued with me right now. If you don't, the timing's completely off. Um, I'm watching the 1979 version, and the version I saw in theaters in 2013, which I guess was the 10th anniversary of the director's cut re-release. It was the director's cut, and in very subtle ways, its pace is tuned up a little bit. Some cuts to scenes here and there, some snips almost unnoticeable. Some scenes move a lot quicker. Even then, it still has the slow pace. But I mean, audiences can take it. Audiences can deal with a movie like this, which it still shocks me. How ADD the filmmakers think we are. We can handle a movie that moves a little bit slower. So Alien, the audience really got into, and you could tell. And here we have the egg, the infamous egg. This was on all the posters and everything like that. Even though it was a little bit different in the posters, but such an iconic visual of the movie, an iconic kind of trait to this creature because it has this whole lifestyle. So we open it up, and Kane there, John Hurt, he's looking at what happens when a mysterious alien egg opens up. You look a little bit closer. Yeah, just fucking look a little bit closer, John Hurt. You're a genius. Yeah, look, something's moving in there. You want to take a closer look? Yeah, you're really smart, aren't you? Like a science officer? Yeah, boom, big scare. That still scares me, honestly. I don't know what it is. There's few scenes that every single time, even when I know it's coming, will always scare me, and that's one of them. He's monitoring the progress. He knows exactly what it is, and how much he actually knows is, I guess, still a mystery. Like you got to figure he has some debriefing on this from Mother, possibly from whoever the powers that be are at the company at Wheel and Yutani. So he must have had some type of briefing where either via the computer or upon his manufacturing, his birth, or whatever you want to call it when it's a robot. Ash is a goddamn robot. Um, he must have had some information like, okay, this is gonna happen. Make sure they go here. Make sure he had this standoff with Ripley earlier about getting him through the airlock. Ripley, who if protocol would have been followed, which she knew to follow, none of this would have happened. Everyone would have been fine. Well, I mean, probably uh, Lambert, Dallas, and Kane would have all been dead, but you know, at least they saved the people on the ship. If she would have followed the protocol, everything would have been fine. But Ash broke that, and here they are, kind of for the first time since it happened. Since things are a little bit calmer now, they have seemingly the situation contained. They can actually kind of talk about it, and she's pissed off, and Ripley's one of these characters who just doesn't take any shit like that, and I think this establishes her as that type of character. No nonsense. Like we see these types of scenes like intensified times 10 in like her encounters with a Burke in Aliens, right? So here she's noticeably pissed off. She's angry. She doesn't trust him. She knows something's off about him. Maybe she doesn't suspect it's a robot, but whatever. Something's off about him. She's pissed off, but by Alien, she's like throwing Burke against the wall. Paul Reiser's looking all crazy. Um, so she's a no nonsense character, and I think that's one thing kind of worth talking about. How it was this arbitrary thing to take this character who was the lead, was at least the character who would ultimately use their wits, their cunning, their maybe just good luck, good sense to survive. And again, in most drafts, maybe it was a man, but they said, hey, how about we make it a woman? Make it Ripley. Very gender neutral names. They don't call each other by their first. I don't even think this movie, unless there's something maybe in the background on a computer, maybe on like a name tag, but even that I kind of doubt. I don't think we know her first name until Aliens as Ellen. So they're all kind of referred to by their last name. Ripley, Dallas, Brad Parker, Lambert, Kane, etc. Actually, I don't know if they're all their first names or last names, but whatever. Anyway, just kind of these gender neutral names, and hey, let's make this character a woman. And that's always kind of the thing you hear about the best female characters, in that they're not written specifically to be women. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not. I'd say most writers at this time, or even now, like I don't know what the percentages of like most screenwriters being men. They're like, well, how do we write a woman, right? So, in being written as a man originally, I think it sort of, in a way that's not even intentional, kind of made Ripley this uh, character that kind of stood for kind of like this feminist movement in pictures, where we could have a character who was a woman who would be, kind of a badass and kind of win the day. And accentuated again to the power of 10 and like aliens. Like that was everything about aliens. Like let's take Alien and like inject it with adrenaline was exactly what they did. But the fact that you list best characters in franchises in action, adventure, sci-fi, horror, franchise, whatever. You're gonna list, Rambo. You're gonna list John McClane, and you're gonna list Ripley, and that's a testament one to that decision. If this were just another male character, maybe it wouldn't have worked out as well. Maybe it would have. Who knows? But and it is also a testament to Sigourney Weaver's great acting ability, and again, this was her breakthrough role. So I guess if we want to consider what happens in the director's cut is what really actually everything happens. So I guess he wasn't killed by the alien, but he was captured from the alien. As Parker says, this is all we found. No blood, no Dallas. So what's going on? So by I always kind of wondered why they would put that line into the movie. Like the alien's doing something with these people, like it grabs Dallas, but let's say between 1979 1986 where they just had this one movie and they didn't establish like the whole cocooning stuff and the whole life cycle with the queen and gathering people to put in their hive and all that stuff. You gotta kind of wonder what exactly the alien is doing with these people. Like, is it saving them for food? Does it gain sustenance off human flesh, or does it simply kill, kill, kill? It is just this kind of entity that doesn't seem like it needs any kind of sustenance. It seems like it is just designed to kill and then die. Like they kind of talk about how I forget either costume designer, writer, or whatever. In one of the making ofs on the DVD, they're like it starts off kind of this pinkish, humanish color, but as you can see, it gets darker and blacker, and it's like it's rotting. It's like it's deteriorating really quickly. It has such a short lifespan, so it has to do something. So it is like I don't know, like this virus that has to latch onto things and kill things. Like humans, which I think Prometheus kind of got into a little bit. And one of the most interesting things about how this creature would operate and how they, whoa, my gosh, we don't hear Ripley scream too much throughout the series, but that is a good scream. So she's not a scream queen, but that was a good scream. There it goes. And then the alien had a good scream too, by the way. Almost like it was mimicking her in a weird, weird way. Because, as I was about to mention, one of the original inceptions or intents for the ending of the movie was to have Ripley die, to have the alien, I don't know, wrap its tail or around her neck or something, or like decapitate her and stick its digits in her neck or something like that, and communicate to Earth somehow that, hey, I'm coming back, get ready for me, in her voice, mimicking her, which that's kind of chilling to me, but I can't imagine it actually working in the movie, in all honesty. So I'm glad it ended where it ended here, and that's a great shot there, kind of like it looks like underwater, sort of. So who knows? Maybe the alien's still floating there. Like maybe later, it's like floating around in space for like 57 years, and then it like runs runs into the queen alien from Aliens. Like, hey, you're out here too? Oh yeah, me too. It's like, well, it's a long wait, and then they run into General Zod from Superman 2. So there's all these possibilities for sequels that have been untapped. So Fox, call me, write me.
Thank you for watching this trip down memory lane with me. Again, if you'd like to listen to the full track, there is a link below, and it should be popping up on the end screen as well. Feedback is always appreciated, and let me know if you'd like to see more Alien commentaries, or even if I should record a brand new one for Alien, but this time for the director's cut version. Or should I go directly to Aliens and record a commentary for that? Would you be interested in commentaries for other movies on my other channel? I haven't done too much aside from Alien. The only other commentaries I've done are for Friday the 13th and The Exorcist, if that interests you at all. But I think it's a fun thing to do every now and then, and everyone likes variety, so if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe to Alien Theory here, and if you'd like to, hi, this is Derek237 on the other channel for all the latest videos, and you can also follow me on social media, on Twitter, at alien_theory, and on Facebook and Instagram, at alientheoryyt. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.